Hello, greetings, sir. Boggle. So tonight we are visiting a classic movie, Demolition Man, starring Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. And tonight I'm joined by Sean and J-Man. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good, thank you. So I don't know about you guys, but Demolition Man for me is top 5 Sylvester Stallone. I think it's just an absolute classic, and it's even more relevant than it's ever been now. With the, it's funny how it started out as like this satire and comedy, and yet so much of it is becoming true. You're just like, oh well, the PC culture and everyone.
No touching.
Yeah, no touching. Yep, and people are being tracked, so it's kind of like vaccine passports. So it's like all kind of becoming true to life. The only thing which thankfully hasn't come true yet is Taco Bell winning the franchise wars, because Taco Bell is generally awful. The Fries Supreme are good though.
Now, do you have Taco Bell or do you have Pizza Hut? Because Pizza Hut is outside of North America, so I wasn't. I was actually going to ask you that. Which one did you see?
Oh, yeah. See, I can't even remember. I think in the UK we still had Taco Bell. It was always Taco Bell that I can remember. However, whenever I watched it on TV, I would always see Pizza Hut. So I have seen the two different versions. So there might just be alternate cuts. But yeah,
the Pizza Hut cut. Yeah,
yeah. It's really Taco Bell is the real thing, because they say Taco Bell, but then outside of North America, Taco Bell wasn't around as much as Pizza Hut. So they switched it to Pizza Hut, and they even changed the logo. So they shot it. It's like it's different logos. So I actually have the Taco Bell version and the I have a digital file of the Pizza Hut version, and that's the one I watched in preparation for this. And I don't think of it until it happens. I'm like, oh this is the damn Pizza Hut one. I wanted the Taco Bell one, but anyways, it's the same thing.
He refers to a burrito though, and all the writing is geared towards Taco Bell, right?
No, but it's all changed. It all says I can go for a piece of pizza. It's like I like pizza.
Yeah.
They literally changed it. They literally redubbed it all.
Yeah, because like Taco Bell isn't a thing in the UK. I mean, when you say Taco Bell, I always remember. I remember actually I was Taco Bell in the theater because we watched it, and nobody's laughing at that. It's like Taco Bell, and we're like, what the hell's Taco Bell? So it's probably no wonder.
Taco Bell was rubbish, right? Like it's like you'd think McDonald's would win or something, or like a Wendy's or I don't know, but like it's like, oh, Taco Bell won. Like really? Like okay.
Why though? I mean, I will admit the Fries Supreme are good.
So good.
Yeah.
And it is good for some spring cleaning as well. So it's good that way. But I'm not sure.
Fast acting spring cleaning.
Before you leave the restaurant to your car. It's like,
X-Lax is the first.
Yeah, I only eat at home. Yeah, I only eat Taco Bell at home.
On the toilet.
It's the messiest food too.
Yeah. Oh God, I know it's so messy.
Looks like a dirty diaper when you unfold it. Right?
Anyway, so Demolition Man, one of my favorite Stallone movies. When I watched it again the other night, everything about it still holds up. It's even the visual effects and everything are still good. Tons of action. That opening scene is incredible. That opening 10 minutes, send a maniac to catch one. Just love all that. And then there's that great shot of the helicopter over the city, and you got all the gunfire going up and everything. It's just this huge, like, epic scale. And I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, it's so good. But I was saying to Sean before we came on that I always thought that Wesley Snipes doesn't get enough credit as an actor. I mean, he is phenomenal, and he's so good in this movie. Like, he's good at comedy, at being menacing, and he's the best Joker we never had on this. Like, he took the Joker. And I was reading that like during the fight scenes, they were slowed down a lot because he was too good at martial arts, so they had to slow it down so people could see his punches and kicks and everything. So I absolutely love it. So I'm going to go over to you guys. So Sean, your thoughts on Demolition Man?
Oh man, I can't remember when I first saw it. I didn't see it in the theater. I must have seen it like on like a rental. And I've seen it many times on TV. It was a darling of television, even though it's like so violent and everything. All the clever, witty stuff I hadn't noticed until maybe like into the like mid to late 90s. Watching it again and again on TV, I was like, wow, like it's an action movie. Like it's an action movie like anything else, with like lots of like stuff blowing up and everything, but it has a vision, and I think that's what gives it its resonance. Like it's it's bold and daring, and it comes up with all sorts of crazy, weird stuff about the future. And Sandra Bullock is really good in this too, because she
I love
really
her.
sells the disconnection of like like she's talking about the 20th century and everything, and just talking like it's this weird, like, and it's only like 30 years prior, right? Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, well, it's not that long ago.
I remember it fine.
when I was younger, I was like, oh my god, the future. But now it's like, sure. I mean, if you can remember 30 years ago, it's not so long ago. But yeah, no, this movie gets, I think, better and better only because of the writing and the ideas of it. And also the action is awesome too. It's like and in some ways you could see it as a satire of that stuff anyways, because they're making fun of the so-called caveman times of
Toxic
everyone being
masculinity.
hungry other and everything. My favorite moment, it's a throwaway thing. My favorite moment in the whole movie, there's a lot of great moments, but my favorite one is when they're looking at like archival footage of John Spartan. And then there's one where he has the kid on his shoulder, and he's walking away from a mall that's destroyed, and the reporter's like, "You destroyed a $1.5 billion mall to save like a child that had a 25 grand like
Ransom.
what's it?
Ransom,
Like, ransom, and the girl's like, "Fuck you, lady."
Fuck you, lady. That's my favorite line of the film.
There's no reason to have that, but that's the fun of this movie. Like, there's a lot of no reason throwaway things that have become like really, really resonant now, like the Taco Bell thing and the 3 shells, and it's like, where the hell is this coming from? And it's unique, and it's an awesome action picture with a lot of like great one-liners and kills. So yeah, it stands like, I think at the time it was just one of the action movies, and it's weird to see that now, because now it's like, my God, like, look at all this fun stuff that you don't really get in movies nowadays. Everything's so dire and dour and serious, and this movie's going for it. It's like, this is the future, and this is the weird stuff you do in the future, and and lots of ideas and concepts. They're fun and daring and biting satire that you don't really get anymore. So yeah, this is awesome.
It's called good writing, which is something we don't get much
right.
anymore.
Yeah, and not lazy writing. Yeah,
right.
Thing. And the thing is that of all the futures shown in the genre, this is the most realistic future, and we never thought it would be. I mean, I remember watching it back in. That'll never happen. All that stuff, and then most of it has. And you're like, wow.
Well, they mention the reason why they don't, like, when they high five, they don't touch each other, and they don't have sex by touching each other either, and they mention pandemics that happen that
they list them all off. It's these fake ones. It's like, well, they're like, it's HIV, and then it's GRS and RPM or whatever.
No,
they just keep saying
but back then it's like, well, that's not gonna happen, right? And now it's like, I don't know when the last time I shook someone's hand, So yeah,
it was crazy. Jay, right, over to you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I had it on VHS and I bought it again, DVD, whatever. I keep, I always buy the new edition of it. I think it's awesome. Like, every single person is great. Like, there's no wasted scenes. There's enough cool future weird things where it's like, the swearing and like the not touching and the sex thing and all that. There's enough of that to make it like, to elevate it above a generic action movie, but then also the action parts are still really good. Like, it's not like they've made, the action parts kind of okay, but they've got this other satire going. It's like, it's a good balance of both. Dennis Leary is great.
He's hilarious.
Nigel Hawthorne, man, is from Yes Minister, which is like one of my favorite shows of all time. He's just the damn best in that show, and he's great here. What's the chubby guy from Beetlejuice who's like his lackey? He's great.
Good catch.
And he's like, he goes, I'd be happy to give you my services. He just moves on to the next person. Wesley Snipes is the best Joker that we never got. He is awesome. And the thing is like, this is the time where the villain is not connected to the hero. We just talked about a certain franchise where I'm just sick and tired of this. You are the same as me. It's like, whatever. Like, stop this dialogue. It's like, look, Wesley Snipes, Phoenix is a piece of shit. That is
he's
it.
A psycho.
He's psychotic. He's an asshole. And the fact that while he's in his sleep, he's getting like better abilities. It's like he's getting knowledge and stuff. That's cool. Austin Powers basically stole this movie's like plot, which is really crazy if you think about it. You're like, Austin Powers, this is Austin Powers.
And John Spartan learning how to knit.
Knitting the sweater is okay. So see, like that doesn't need to be in this movie, right? But it's there to show that the writers were thinking, well, if they're literally in this cryogenic sleep and they're supposed to be rehabilitated, they're like, well, what would happen? I like when someone thinks a little bit ahead. Like it's not just the idea is he's frozen and then they wake up and then it's an action movie. It's like, no, like what would happen? And when Snipes wakes up and he starts, and even as a viewer, he's typing and he's controlling stuff. You're like, well, how does he? You start to think like, oh, is this a mistake? Like you almost don't want to give the movie credit. You're like, oh, this is a mistake. He shouldn't know how to do this. And you're like, oh wait, shit. Oh shit, he's working for that guy. Yeah, he knows. You're like, oh, that's cool. So it's like it's really a lot of stuff that's put in there that like just makes it cool. And so my thing with this movie is that when I first saw it, I thought it was a really, really cool movie. And then that was it. And then I watched it again. I hadn't watched it for like a good, like 5 or 6 years, let's say gap. And then I watched it again, I don't know, let's say like 15 years ago or something or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, this is the goddamn best movie ever. Like what the hell? And so Demolition Man is the movie I use to say, you got to revisit some of these ones because and this isn't even like watching it now. I just watched it tonight. I literally watched it and then came on the stream. So I was like, shit, I'm going to be late. I got to hurry up and get through this. But like, I didn't, it's just under 2 hours. So I watched it and then came right on and I'm thinking, oh, this is crazy good. And today's, whatever art, films that we have, most of them are crappy. It's like so good. If this came out right now, this would be like the #1 hit or whatever, because it's relevant now. It was relevant then and it's relevant now because things don't change, I suppose. But like, it's like, it's relevant now too. So it's like, this is awesome. Like, I don't know. It's really a cool movie. I have no faults. I can't think of a fault with it. It's not long.
The other thing I would say was when I don't know if you saw our Facebook conversation the other night. I did a check-in on it, and it was like probably one of the most popular check-ins I've done on Facebook. It got like 40-something likes and tons of comments. But there's a guy in it called Rhino Ryan Michaels, and he is one of the goons who's like defrosted towards the end, and he shows up with Jesse Ventura. And I always thought that was quite noticeable, where these characters are all introduced and then they kind of just disappear, and nothing really happens. But apparently they had all the scenes which were cut, and although it's not jarring, you do sort of notice the ending does feel a little rushed whenever the characters show up. You're like, oh, okay, nothing really happens. So I definitely wouldn't mind seeing a director's cut at some point, but I doubt that's going to happen now. A bit long.
No, he restored the Demolition Man universe.
Yeah, you'd figure like Jesse Ventura would do something else.
Yeah, because he's in the credits
he's just
early
one
on.
of the guys, and when they credit all the goons, he's like the last credit. It's like, well, that's weird. You figure there would have been a showdown of some sort. Yeah.
So apparently, Ryan also said that the sequel is currently being written. So I was like, that's probably not a good idea.
They should do a prequel called President Schwarzenegger.
Yes, I love that.
You have him; he's older, and he could do it.
I like that too. And he's like, oh man, but I love this era of the two of them going back and forth. Like Last Action Hero has Stallone playing the Terminator. He's like, oh, he's great in that movie, and I like that. I think that's really fun, and it's just a fun little Easter egg thing.
Yeah. And I was saying to Sean earlier, I remember this from years ago, and I'd forgotten that Stallone actually wanted Jackie Chan to play Simon Phoenix, but he declined because Asian audiences wouldn't want to see him play a villain. But I was like, I don't know. I think he could have nailed it, to be honest. But it's hard to picture anybody other than Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix. I'm going to come out and say it. Actually, my favorite Wesley Snipes character, like today,
probably.
Him, closely followed by Blade, the two of them. But Simon Phoenix is such a great character. I would have loved them to have done a sequel and bring about cloning or something. I know that was sort of one of the ideas. I mean, in a sci-fi movie, you can kind of do whatever you want. So I loved the foreshadowing at the beginning as well. And he's like, oh, I swear I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached or something. And then at the end, he gets killed by losing his head and shattering on the ground. I love he's so sort of over the top camp as well. Like I love when he lights a cigarette and says, Light your ass on fire.
Yeah, yeah, he's got like a lot of good, just like one-off lines or just like
Yeah.
asides, like just he just has these little asides or whatever, which are so good.
Yeah.
And he's having fun, man. Like this is the other thing, and I don't want to get into the other franchise movie that had their character, garbaged up. But like, what happened to having fun? Like you go to see these movies, you sit down, you're like, yeah, I'm having fun with this movie. Like Demolition Man, I'm like, this is a lot of fun. It still has some good points. You don't have to. People seem to think that you have to sacrifice fun and entertainment in order to tell a serious, compelling. What's the Sean? What did you say, Sean, the other night? Oh, bold. It's like,
bold take. Yeah,
it's a bold take. Like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm watching a movie. Like, you can.
It's like, you're making a Superman movie, right? Like, why is it mega serious?
Yeah, right. Like, we've got all these, the Bond series. It's like, what the hell happened? Like, you used to sit down and be like, now I'm gonna be entertained and I'm gonna have fun. Like you when you finish watching Demolition Man, you immediately start to talk with your friends about like, oh shit, that was so cool. Remember when this happened? Remember when that happened? Da-da-da-da. You talk about it, and then that gets you more excited about it. And then, the next day you're like, shit, man, that was awesome. You're talking more about it. You look forward to watching it again, right? Yeah. These new movies now, you watch it, you're like, no, that was good. And then, we're all critics and we're all like film connoisseurs. So we have to be like serious and Owen, you have to do your review. So you have to come up with your
I really get to enjoy a movie the first time.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, it's a great film. 3.5 out of 5. The plot was okay. I could have done better with, the music. So you have to write up this review. And it's like, what happened to just like, I watch it and be like, man, this is fucking awesome, man. I got to watch this again, like right now. And then you get excited that way. And I know we have to do our reviews and we all do them, but I mean, it's like, sometimes you're just excited about the movie and not just doing a review, and trying to come up with points. Cause like a lot of people are giving passes to some movies today, which I'd be like, why are you giving this a pass? It sucks.
Yeah.
But like
James Bond.
James Bond. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pass. Well, I thought it was compelling. It was very good. What compelling?
Compelling. There's like 2.5 hours. It felt like 5 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, Sean.
Oh my gosh. I did not drink anything because I knew I was going to be in trouble.
I did, unfortunately. Like I needed to pee like 45 minutes into it. I was like, oh no. And I was like, it wasn't that long. And I was like, it was the longest movie of all time. Please end. So, sorry, a bunch of comments here from Give Me Back My Action Movies. So, hey, Charlie.
Oh, nice.
Again today.
So did I.
Yeah, this is a top 5 action movie for me, no question. Yeah, it's certainly way up there. I think it's my number 2 Stallone movie. I would say the Rambo movies, just all of them, number 1. Then Demolition Man, and then probably the Rocky movies. But this one is so good, and the fact that it still just holds up.
Yeah.
Sandra nailed the naive partner perfectly.
Oh,
yeah,
she was so good.
She was so good. She never looked hard. Oh my God, she was so hot in this movie.
Yeah,
but she is a great character. She's likable. Yeah. She's an ass kicker. She fights, and they reference Jackie Chan, where she's like, "Oh, watching Jackie Chan movies." So that was awesome. Oh yeah. The electric self-driving cars, I do not like the foam thing that comes out whenever he crashes and like wraps him up. I was like, oh no, fuck that. I wouldn't want that. I'd rather die in a car wreck than be trapped in that.
But it's a neat idea, and it was tried out like since then.
Oh really?
Like as foam that sort of protects you and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a neat visual because you're like,
it was really well done.
It was really well done.
Safety foam or whatever it's called. Security foam.
Sandra Bullock's office is awesome. She's got the Lethal Weapon poster. She's got the Batman. She's got the Batman and Joker toys in the back.
Yeah, I only noticed that last night for the first or the other night when I watched it.
If there's a Batman in there, I'm gonna I can zero in it. If there's like a Jason like a hockey mask or a Batman thing or some kind of like a He-Man figure in the back, I always notice that there's a He-Man figure in the back there. What's that?
I used to laugh at the toys for this because they made an action figure line, and no one cares about it, right? But now I want them all. They made 2 Phoenixes. They made a blast action Phoenix and a flame-throwing Phoenix. And they look like Wesley Snipes with the blonde hair and everything. So I'm totally going to hunt for those now. They must be $2 each. No one cares about those. But it's awesome.
I would buy them all.
Was he the armored Phoenix or was he the
They both have an H vest over like a shirt or whatever.
Okay.
Like a Kevlar vest or something.
Yeah.
I would love to see some companies, if any company, toy company is watching this, but to actually make toys of like iconic action movie characters. Like, where's my Jack Traven figure from Speed or Johnny Utah and all this stuff? I mean, there's so many like cool things you could do, and Simon Phoenix and John Spartan, Rambo, John McClane.
And
all these ones.
there
Like,
are
official
like
toys,
boutique companies that do things like that, but they don't. For some reason, they don't hit on like the action movies. Maybe it's because some of these things are still tightly held by movie companies and stuff, right?
Maybe, yeah. But as I said, I mean, which I say pretty much on every stream, that the action movies like the kind that we love are almost like a cult now, where it's almost like people are ashamed of them. And I was like, why? They're better than most of the shit that's released now. Like literally the best film I've seen in the past few months was Halloween Kills.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, that was awesome. So what's he saying here? No heart in movie making anymore, but there are a few exceptions, like Nobody. Agreed.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
Our office looks like our dude rooms. My apartment, which is what it is. I'm looking for the toys. They made the Oldsmobile 442 as well. Oh,
yes, they did, and it had a little pop-out gun or whatever.
Oh my god!
I only realized on their most recent viewing. It's funny whenever you've been watching movies the way I have, like religiously for the past few years since running the site. There's the little in jokes, like Benjamin Bratt's character is called Alfredo Garcia. And bring me the head of.
Yes. And him and Sandra Bullock are the FBI agents in Miss Congeniality.
Yes,
that's like my wife's one of her favorite movies. I've seen it 4,000 times. Anytime it's on TV, we have it on.
She looks so hot now as well whenever she comes out in the dress.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I know. I've got the poster for that.
I bet. It's laminated. The John Spartan toy was a repainted He-Man New Adventures line.
I don't doubt it. They look like them. Yeah, they're Mattel. So
Mattel's got their mold or whatever. The New Adventure Man, they changed sort of the body sculpts.
Yes,
made it a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
Which was kind of one of the failures of the line. Different stream for that, but anyway,
it's another topic for another time.
Yeah.
Oh, you frozen, Jay? Are you still there? Can you hear
No,
me?
I'm here. I can hear you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Your screen is gone. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, there are so many good things. Like Dennis Leary, you wonder how much of that was scripted. Like when he does the rant.
At one point, his rant is basically his stand-up at the time, right? It's the same exact thing. It's like, I want to get all the cholesterol and all that stuff.
Or smoke 7,000 packs a day. I mean, his type of comedy, I bet you just don't even get anymore.
But he's good in it too.
He was great. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anybody who's bad in it. Like, I love Bob Gunton in it because you kind of just want to punch him in the face. He's like caveman. He's wrong about absolutely everything. And dare I say it, but even Rob Schneider isn't annoying, even though he is only in it just like he isn't a small part. But I thought his character was actually quite funny.
Is this before or after Dread?
I don't remember.
I think it was before. It was before, and they probably got on well and became pals, and then they ended up doing Judge Dredd.
Right.
He was used to a minimum in this one. That's why he wasn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, really? So I read they changed his script to allow him to rant. Yeah, they probably just, he ad-libbed a lot. They just let him go to town, I think. But I mean, it was classic Dennis Leary.
Yeah, I mean, the writer was interviewed last year, and I read some of the interview, but basically this was a basic action script before he came on. And then he added all this weird stuff like the shells and the political correctness and all that. And then basically he changed it so much he got like top billing for the writing, right? So
Has anybody ever tried using the seashells?
You have to get shells first.
I don't know.
I have a collection where I always pick up shells whenever I visit beaches, but I'm sort of like, I don't really know if I want to use this.
I'm surprised they haven't sold that as a novelty thing from Demolition Man, right? Like the toilet kit, and it's like 3 shells or whatever.
I need like the explanation.
Yeah.
Well, come with instructions. You know. So here's the thing. When I was a kid, this is gonna sound terrible. When I was like 12 or 13 and I watched that scene where he learns about the shell, like he goes, you don't have any toilet paper. He learns about the shells and he meets his friend and he swears at that box and gets the things. I was like, so wait a minute. Are you walking around with a shitty ass in this scene?
I know.
Is that what this is? No, it's he went there and he realized there's no toilet paper and then he came out and before he did his business. But yeah.
It's definitely some overthinking.
Yeah,
I was thinking
it's
that too when I watched it. I was like, "Oh, that sounds really painful." I mean, there's an infographic. Like somebody actually went to the trouble of doing an infographic of how to use the 3 seashells. And it was like used to scrape the fecal matter from. And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to read
You
anymore."
spread the cheeks or something with two of them, and then
But like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
I know it's like you have one hand. It's like, are
Like-
you using two hands or what's going
I know
on?
it's like you're
You
supposed
need
to,
three
like,
hands for that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really something I really want to try. I was like, I'll just be a caveman. Just give me the toilet roll.
But it's an effective thing like we talk about today, and everyone jokes about it, but it's a memorable thing that someone just imagined and put in it. It's brilliant, because like how the hell does that work? It's like that will puzzle mankind for another 1,000 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's no answer. There's no answer.
It's a ship of Theseus. No.
It's a ship of Theseus.
That's what I love is that's the last line of the movie. How do those damn 3 seashells work? I was like, when was the last time a movie ended with a joke?
Yeah.
Which leaves you smiling rather than, oh wow, why did they do that to my favorite character? Or something.
Right.
So
spoilers for No Time to Die now.
So Demolition Man was 93 and Dread is 95. Yeah, I thought it was first.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. What were you about to say?
No, I was gonna make an aside about something else, but yeah, no, Demolition Man. I mean, it's like I want to say like the poster was cool too, like just having them face off. It's like this is one of these movies where like sort of you instantly know what you're gonna get, and you can almost tell yourself before even seeing the movie that this is for me. And the people who it's not for. Like, it's not like a movie that sneaks up on you. Like, I don't know, like, I can't think of an example, but like, I don't know, like maybe like Sixth Sense or something, like where I was like, I don't really care about this kid and the ghosts, but then it was like a cool movie and then the ending's neat. It's like, this is a movie where you saw it, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm in, this is going to be great. And then it actually is great. It delivers on what I always call the promise from the very opening scene. I always say every movie is a promise. It's promising the audience something. Does it give you the something it promises? Yes, it does. So that's the thing. And it's like my wife and I were we're watching it together, and she just kind of like, she's like, yeah, it's just too much action for her.
Yeah.
She just like kind of checked out. Yeah. So she kind of just checked out, right? So then I'm like, and I knew she wouldn't be into it, because it's still heavy action, and also it's heavy action, a lot of explosions and shooting, and
fighting and everything,
fighting and all that.
Really a perfect action movie.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And it's like, so she likes Sandra Bullock a lot, like that's her favorite. So she didn't leave the room though. She kind of watched. She watched all the non-fighting parts because there's still neat stuff there, right? So that shows that it still has something more to offer than just the explosions.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. It's not just just an action movie. You've got the comedic side, and then just the whole future ideas, and the fact that we're still talking about it now, and it's nearly 30 years old or something soon, in 2 years. Oh my God, how did that happen? I remember seeing it in the theater.
Wow.
Because I remember this was a part of Stallone's big comeback. Remember, he was in like a bunch of crap like Stop or My Mom Was Shooting, and his big comeback movie was Cliffhanger, and then this.
That's a good movie.
Cliffhanger's awesome. It's it might be Die Hard in a Mountain, but I love it, and the bad guys in it are just
awesome.
turds.
Yeah, because remember, bad guys were bad guys.
I know.
Yeah,
they weren't tragic. They weren't tragic heroes who were supposed to somehow care about.
Relate to.
Yeah, I never related to Simon Phoenix. I was like, this guy.
I understand where he's coming from. Are you supposed to? It's like, listen, if someone beat you, mugged you, and raped you, do you want to understand where they were coming from? They're just plain bad,
Right.
Evil exists in the world. You can't always explain
sort of hide from it. James, we probably would have liked him finding his daughter that got cut. That was one thing I noticed. And I was like, where's the storyline with the daughter? That could be a sequel.
They mention it briefly when they're in the car again, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to know because I just want to let her live or whatever." No, my wife is not the normal. Like, my wife reads manga and watches Japanese movies and stuff like that, and anime and everything. So she doesn't like anything that's like. She doesn't like sappiness, so she wouldn't care about the daughter part. She's just like, there wasn't enough. She loves the Terminator, the first 2 Terminator movies. So it's like there wasn't enough, I guess, Terminator-ish things in it. I don't know what to tell, like, too many explosions and not enough. I guess she liked all the ideas, like but there, just not enough of those. She wanted more of those and maybe less. To take away 2 action scenes, and then you've got.
But it's funny because you could like watching it again. I watched it today as well, but
yeah.
I've seen it like plenty of times, but like watching it again, I was like, well, all the action, you could say it's thematic too, because it's like all that cavemen, like male testosterone aggressiveness is what saves the day, right?
Right.
But whenever it's there, it serves a point. Like at one point, like when he's fighting Dennis Leary's guys, and then he realizes what they're fighting for.
Yeah,
and he's like, you know what, like, it's not the Old West. The Old West wasn't the Old West,
Yes.
He goes on this whole speech, and he's like, like I don't want to fight people that are trying to find something to eat, right?
Yep, that was good.
But yeah, it's all that big like fisticuffs action from like the late 80s, early 90s to me fits into the movie's theme. So I mean, it's not just a dumbass action picture, It's
kind of it's sort of like an ideal double bill with Last Action Hero, where it's sort of
takes the piss out of
the genre
while giving you
in a loving way, but still being awesome. So I'm thinking maybe for next week we'll do Last Action Hero. I know we were talking about that for a while, so and we'll defend that because I remember it was.
I love it. I didn't know it was bad.
No, neither did I. I've always loved it. So
yeah, I never knew it was bad till someone's like, "Oh, that's a shit movie." I'm like, "It is."
Yeah, that and Hudson Hawk were like, I thought I would love Hudson Hawk. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I didn't know that was bad either.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah.
Oh, I actually just watched Hudson Hawk for the first time in a few years. I mean, I saw it in the theater when it came out. I always enjoyed it. But when I watched it a couple of years ago, I was crying at the scene at the end, and it's like, "Oh, Alfred, guess you'll not be making that hat convention in July." After getting his head cut off, and I was just like, I miss that Bruce Willis as well. So you know what? I think actually we'll do a Hudson Hawk one as well. Then I'm
rewatching Hudson Hawk now. I haven't seen that in like 10 years easy.
It'd been a while since I'd watched it, but it was just silly nonsense. And I think that like both Hudson Hawk and Last Action Hero were sort of the much maligned movies. It's one of these things where people weren't really ready for them at the time. But yet, I know tons of people who hate Hudson Hawk and think it's just like awful movie.
Yeah,
and I was like, I mean, I suppose I can see it, but I love it and just think it's fun, and I love just seeing Bruce Willis with personality, which we've missed for a long time.
If I'm entertained, it's good. I don't believe the "it's so bad it's good" thing. That's not something that I know. I don't like saying that. If I had enjoyment for my time, that means I enjoyed it and I liked it. I remember people used to say Army of Darkness. They used to say this to me: Army of Darkness is so bad it's good. It's like, are you effing crazy? That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, it's a classic.
That's like 10 out of 10. It's like, it's not so bad it's good. It's not like The Room or whatever, so bad it's good or whatever.
Yeah,
where you're laughing at the
production value,
value of it. Yeah, it's like, no, Army of Darkness is good, not so bad it's good. But even The Room, I enjoy it. It's very funny. We watched it a couple of times, and it's like, it's awful, but I enjoy it. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Last Action Hero. It's like, I know, it's ahead of its time, I guess. Whatever. So was Hudson Hawk, I guess. I don't know, but it's like, if it was fun, it was fun. Like, I mean, who cares?
Yeah, so tune in next Friday and we'll do The Last Action Hero then, because I want to give that a watch again, because it's been a couple of years since I've watched it, and I'll catch up on it, and we'll do that. So give me back my action movies. Who says that this was an R-rated Saturday morning cartoon, Demolition Man? And I was like, yeah, it totally was a cartoon. Yeah, and love Last Action Hero. Yeah, so okay, we'll definitely do that one next week. What else was there in Demolition Man that I loved? I love it whenever they're actually in Taco Bell having the meal, and then they bring it over, and it's like fine dining.
Yeah,
because they're making fun of fine dining, because fine dining's bullshit.
Yeah.
I need to eat a lot. Okay, I'm not going to a restaurant. I need to have like a ridiculous amount of food on my plate that looks like, I need it to be offensive.
Yeah, I'm here to eat, not to show off. It's like, give me my burger, give me my fries, give me my milkshake, give me my heart disease. Thank you.
Yeah, no, just like the Dennis Leary, that whole
yeah. Real skin hubcaps and everything else. He almost steals the movie. I mean, has anybody ever had a rat burger? I haven't.
I know, that was awesome.
It's really good.
You know what? So that scene is really good too, because when he goes down there, and I know again this concept's everywhere, Metropolis, like all the going back to Silent Era, where it's like the haves and have-nots or whatever.
Right.
But like, I love that it comes down to like a burger, beer. He gets down there and he's like, oh god damn, I can smell that, and you're just oh, what's going on, And he's like, oh yeah, man. And he's like, that's what I'm talking about. I want a beer, and it's like, oh, and I was into it too, because at that point in the movie, you're now used to this, really garbage future where everything has no meaning, because there's just no meaning to anything, because you can't feel or touch or talk or whatever, and you can't enjoy life. So then when the burger comes, even I'm excited too. I'm like, oh my god, it's a burger! And I'm like, why am I so excited? Like, it looked good to me. I'm looking at that. I'm like, this rat burger's looking real good right now.
I know. It's funny. Do you consider a dystopia or a utopia? It's sort of disguised as a utopia, but it is actually a dystopia.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no freedom.
It's a dystopia because, I mean, was Metropolis a dystopia? Because it was supposed to be the same thing, where it is a utopia, but underneath there, it's like Dubai. No offense to them, but because I read an article about how like the class that has built all that great stuff in Dubai outnumbers the rich people that live there, but they all live in poverty. That's not something that you see. And it's a common theme throughout history, but it's something that was reflected in Metropolis, is reflected here in Demolition Man, right? And so at that point, is it a dystopia? And everyone there is gleeful because they don't understand what they could have in Demolition Man. They seem happy, but it's like, but they could be freer, right?
I mean, Wesley Snipes says the best line in the movie: "You can't take away people's right to be assholes."
Assholes,
which is the best line of the film.
Oh, that's a great line, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's a legit.
That's so today, though. I mean, because this person's cancelled or that's cancelled, and just let people be.
Well, we are getting tickets. We are getting swear tickets. We're not getting them physically, and where we have to actually pay a fine. We're getting them by your Twitter's being removed or blocked, or you're getting canceled for saying things that are wrong. It's like, remember when actions spoke louder than words, where it's like, if literally person A went up and beat the crap out of person B, and then person A said something bad about person B, depending on the look of person A and B, it's a different crime, right? Without getting into like you mentioned, to race or gender, but depending on the genders of A and B, physical beating it up versus saying something bad could be worse than the others if the proper genders and races are involved. And you're like, really? Like, what the heck? And people say they're bullied. It's like, no, I saw kids being bullied at my school where like kids were being beaten the crap out of. I'm like, yeah, that's bullying.
That's bullying, yeah.
Yeah,
you come here and you're free, but you might starve to death. Yeah, that's the thing.
That was a great line too, man. That was a good line too.
Yeah. I mean, the script was so good, and it's probably one of the best action movie scripts to date. And although people still talk about the movie, I still do consider it underrated. I think that not enough people give it credit for for what it's shown. But I think literally over the past maybe 5 or 6 years, people are like, wait a minute, this movie was like
discovering it now.
Yeah, and it was like a vision of the future, and it's actually like totally real and believable. And it wasn't even supposed to be. Like, I remember you were saying, Sean, the writer, like last year or something, did an interview, I think it was with Collider or something, and he was talking about the movie, and he said he didn't set out to like make some like politicized movie or anything. He said he just wanted to make something funny and ridiculous, but unfortunately reality is becoming ridiculous. It's like Idiocracy. Like, Idiocracy wasn't supposed to be real, and now look at it. So.
Yeah, well, even at the time when he made Idiocracy, though, it looked like we're heading that direction. So yeah. But also he said, like, I think he made a point in that interview that at the end when Spartan's like because Dennis Leary's like, we're gonna paint the town red, and then John Spartan's like, whoa. He's like, you get a little cleaner, and he points to the other guy and says, you get a little dirtier. It's like, and you meet in the middle.
Yeah, that was good.
It's not like like one revolutionary team is gonna destroy everything else. It's like there has to be a middle.
Work together, which is definitely something people could learn today.
Yeah.
So there we go. There's my preaching.
Be reasonable. God.
Be well.
You can't. If you mention anything that's slightly on one side or the other side automatically pins you as 100% on that other side. That's the problem. Like if you say one little thing, like, well, maybe we should think about this. Oh, you must be this.
Crucify him.
You can't be pragmatic or anything, or like freaking common sense. Yeah.
Well, there's not much of that these days.
Yeah.
Demolition Man needs a renaissance. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I know Stallone was talking about the sequel, and it is being written. So as long as Stallone is in it, then I would be interested. Bring back Snipes because he hasn't aged. I'm pretty sure he actually is a vampire because he hasn't aged since then. I mean, you see him, you're like, what happened? He's immortal. He is the Daywalker.
What was with the eyes? Is that like?
Yeah, that was just deliberate. He just had like the different colored eyes, which I thought was a lovely touch. It was once again just a crazy sort of Joker-esque thing. I don't really know what the reason was for it. So, hey Charlie, do you have any idea what the eyes thing was? Let's give me back my
because there's really no reason for it at all. Like it's just there. So I like things that are just there. Like if
just
there's no reason,
it's
just he's got one blue, one brown. That's it.
Yeah.
Some people have that. I don't know what Snipes' actual eye color is. I don't know.
I don't think he has that, but
he's brown eyed or whatever. But some people do have it. I think the one girl does have it. What's her name from Blue Crush? What was that girl's name? She was Lois Lane or whatever in in Superman Returns. I think she has two different colored eyes.
Okay, Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth, yes, I think she has different colored eyes.
Oh yeah, because she is fantastic in Homefront, the Jason Statham movie. She should have got like an Oscar for that. She was fantastic. She's been playing this like white trash person, and but her character isn't the way you expect her to be, and that's what I loved about it. Really quite different. I think it was just a look. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, that's great.
I loved the look of Simon Phoenix, just like the whole wardrobe and everything. Yeah, I remember this. He actually hated the blonde hair and shaved it after, but Rodman started dyeing his hair because of Phoenix. I remember that.
I'm trying to remember. I swear I saw a show where someone dressed as Simon Phoenix, like as their costume, like some comedy thing. I don't know if it was Community or something like that, but
oh my god.
It comes and goes in the pop culture zeitgeist, right? But I think, as you say, Owen, like it's coming back in a big way now because it's one of those movies. It's always been sort of prescient, but I think it's one of those movies that people like. Well, this crazy action movie had a lot of things to say, and probably that seems unusual to newer audiences because that's not what. They think they're getting something that's profound from newer movies, but not really. If you look at something like this, or even Total Recall, or even Starship Troopers, which was dismissed as a cynical movie, but like all of that authoritarian stuff was in the book. That what they were doing was the same thing as the book, like showing how crazy, how things can really get if you just like give in, like that. So
one of I think probably my favorite action scene, apart from the opening scene, is the fight in the museum. Just that whole museum scene. Yeah. You're on TV, and hits him with the TV. I just loved all of that. But just like whenever Phoenix is walking past the guy, and he's like, "Oh, so sorry," like bangs his head into the wall, and he's just a dick. But that's the brilliant thing about him is that there's no reason for it. Like I said, he's just an asshole, and he just enjoys it. And you hate him, but you love to hate him at the same time because he's just entertaining. And he's just a great. I think he's one of my favorite action movie villains.
But I just love the concept of the guy who's like, I mean, he's us, right? But his inhibitions are shed, and everyone else around him, has all these rules set for them, and everything.
He's free,
and it's very easy for him to just take over, right? He just like beat up, like there's like these big bruiser looking dudes that are like guards and stuff, and he's toying with them and playing with them and stuff because they can't do anything, right? Because everyone else around them has conformed to the same rules they did, so it's easy for him to just go and just like poke at it and easily destroy stuff, right?
If we want to get super analytical, it's like he is the freest person in the entire movie. Second is Spartan.
Yeah.
Phoenix is the most free because he will do whatever he wants at any time he wants. And it shows that one free man can beat the crap out of all of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. And I don't think it's an accident that that's what's happening in the movie. It's like, yeah, he's great at martial arts, but I mean, he really can't, you can't take on 20 guys if they all can, but he literally can because they're immobilized. They literally look at their little iPhone thingies or iPads and they're like, okay, he's resisting. What do we do?
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, you're huge. Like you're bigger than Snipes. Like you could take him down, but he sucks.
No clue, yeah.
Yeah, but he's been trained to not. He's never encountered anyone who would break the rules, right?
Right.
So he doesn't know what to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
great.
it's like the perpetrator hasn't stepped down. It's like, well, use more force. Phoenix, you are under arrest. Oh, you know what I really like? Everyone says everyone's full name every time. It is so funny. She keeps saying, "Yes, John Spartan." Yeah, but everyone refers to everyone else with their full name. I don't know what they're going for with that. But Nigel Hawthorne, what's his name, Cocteau or whatever, Cocteau. He's the only one I think that they don't say his full name. I'm not 100%. We'd have to look at it again, but literally every time any character refers to any other character, they say the full name of the character. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the meaning is behind that. I guess I'd have to watch it again.
I think it's just a more formal society.
Yeah,
really, so it's just doing that, and where nobody is relaxed and everybody's sort of uptight and polite, so they don't get punished by it. And as we haven't actually mentioned that John Spartan, you were fined 1 partial credit for a violation of the verbal morality.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I love that running joke throughout. I mean, you just hear somebody sort of say, "God damn it, John Spartan, you're." It's just constant, and it's always funny every time it happens. I mean, even now.
Yeah, whoever the sound designer was had fun because like even when any single small little thing, even like damn or something like that, like in the background.
I think they missed a couple. There's one where I think they missed one, but I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I bet you the machine got destroyed in the fight. So it's like,
well, he sets him in the car, but there's no machine in the car, right?
I figured there's just no machine there, so they're free. Because I remember he swore because I was waiting for it, and he was like, "I'm a fucking seamstress" or something, and you're waiting for it to go.
He's in the car though when he says that. So.
Yeah, so like that's what.
So they don't even conceive of the possibility that a cop on duty would swear. So it's like not even needed in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no. I mean, the script is so good. It just really is one of the best action movie scripts. I just love the dialogue. Love that. And when he says, "Damn, I'm possessed," and I loved that. Just the way the characters develop when they come out, both Phoenix and Spartan, where they know things and you're sort of like, how do they know these things? And then it sort of slowly explained that they're programmed while they were asleep and everything. And I thought that's really quite an ingenious idea, and sort of reprogramming them. And I thought that was really, really cool. So,
they should you stop too and like thinking about who he's gonna the person he's supposed to kill, right? Friendly or whatever. No, they introduce it very easily into the film. Like it's not a big like Act 3 reveal like it would be today.
This is what would happen in Black Widow. I mean Demolition Man. If it would happen today, it's like you'd get to the final guy and then you're about to kill him. Ha ha ha! You can't kill me, Phoenix, because I have this thing. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. They introduced it so randomly, like. He's running around. He's like, "Oh, I'll just kill this guy." He's like, "Wait, I can't shoot you." He's like, "That's right." It's like, "You can't shoot me." It's like right away. I mean, well, not right away, but whatever. I don't know, 40 minutes in or whenever he first encounters them.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. I think that's really cool.
And then he eventually just gives somebody else to just shoot this.
Right, which is genius because it's like because Cocteau didn't think far enough ahead to say, "Oh shit, I never programmed these other guys." I didn't program everybody. So, and it's not like RoboCop where, in RoboCop, you can't shoot someone of the company because it's literally their property, right? So it's like,
you're fired.
Oh man, come on. You're fired.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be doing a RoboCop one soon. I need to rewatch all the RoboCop movies, and then we'll discuss that because that'll be a few hours long when we're going through the franchise, the trilogy, and then we'll briefly discuss the remake. But that's not going to be long.
There's the 4 TV movies too.
Yeah, the TV movies as well. So
I've got those Prime Directives.
Yeah, Prime
Oh, I got
Directives. Yeah, I haven't seen them in years.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll watch them, and but I'll take a while to sort of catch up with all of that and see. Yeah, evil Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
was
he
a
looks
great
like an
line.
evil Mr.
And it was funny because whenever I was growing up, I never got that joke because Mr. Rogers doesn't exist
Wasn't
in like
there.
the UK. We're like, who the fuck's
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers? I never heard of that. And it's funny when we watched Mr. Rogers for the first time, we were like, what the fuck is this? People watch this? And it was like so naive. And then after watching it for a while, you're like, actually, this guy was awesome. He's like this like pure-hearted, good person, and it was really cool. But yeah, it's that definitely wouldn't fly, particularly in Scotland. They'd be like, "Who's this prick?" And probably get knifed, but whatever. But
at least, but you could still understand sort of. It's like it doesn't matter if you got that or not. It didn't really. It's like Taco Bell versus the Pizza Hut thing.
That was the thing. It was still just part of a joke. I mean, you knew of Taco Bell. You're like, okay, it's a taco place. So,
yeah, it's a taco.
That was the thing. So, I mean, I've only ever been there 2 or 3 times, to be honest. But it's funny, after watching, I was like, you know what? Damn it, I could go to Taco Bell and have a burrito and the supreme fries.
Well, they did.
Did they do a cross promotion? Like, did they offer
probably?
They have to have done.
I mean, meal or something, or.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe the best product placement of all time in a movie because it's like so blatantly obvious. And only Taco Bell is still around because Pizza Hut is around, but it's only around for delivery these days. But I mean, I used to love going into Pizza Hut when you had like the ice cream factory and all that shit. I mean, it was like an event going there.
Yeah, it was like a buffet of pizzas, and it were like you just get whatever you wanted. That was good. That was good.
Wow, oh man, that was so good. Kids don't realize how lucky we had it whenever we were younger. There's just more to do these days. They're just on their phone.
Yeah. That's a whole other stream.
That's exactly. That's once again in a conversation for another stream somewhere else. But yeah, Ellie Goldenthal's score is pretty decent, but it's practically exactly the same as his Batman Forever score. Though when you listen to it, you're like, that just sounds exactly the same music to Batman Forever. But it does the job, and particularly, like I said, in the opening sequence. But yeah, is there anything else we haven't covered?
I mean, this opening sequence is sort of like Last Action Hero, which will lead into next week because it's like the really cool action part that we all kind of know what will happen. You know what I mean? And then it's like the pre-credits kind of action scene, and then it's like, okay, now Demolition Man starts, and it's like it just to show you what John Spartan is capable of, which is great. And you're like, oh, all of this will happen in the future. So it's like, did we ever find out? I know that Spartan was, he endangered or killed like all those hostages or whatever.
Yeah,
but he didn't. Because they were already dead, Phoenix says to him at the end.
Yeah, so it's like he wasn't guilty or whatever. It's
no,
like,
he never did anything wrong.
He never did anything wrong, and it's like, and I started to think, I'm like, this is like slightly unfair because it's like you're cryogenically freezing these guys, and like, well, they're gonna live in the future, like whereas other people, like I don't know what's the value of life. It's like because that one guy got old. And I'm like, well, maybe it would have been better to be frozen. And then, you wake up every like 10 years or something. And then you go back to being frozen. You wake up another, I don't know. Like, I just started to think about like how that process works. Like when they're doing the parole and stuff, it's like, if he passes parole, are they going to let him out? Like they're never going to let anyone out in that.
Yeah. Then you have no skills in the future. Like it's worse, right?
Well, they're supposed to be giving you the skills.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's why they give. So they give you lame skills, like, well, not that my mom just knitted me a blanket, so I'm not gonna say it's lame, but it's like she literally just texted me 2 days saying I knitted you a blanket. It's done, which is funny. But but that's the point. Like when you come out, you have to have some sort of lame job, right? Like so he'll just be a seamstress. Like what would Simon Phoenix have been coming out like 30 years after being frozen? He'd be like what? Like I don't know. Like you can't do anything in that time period. He'd be like a lawnmower or something. Like, I don't know.
Something like that, yeah. Your picture's frozen again, by the way.
Oh.
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the opening was only missing an AC/DC soundtrack.
Yeah.
But AC/DC are so overused now, unfortunately. Like it's Marvel kind of used it to death with the Iron Man. And man, all the cops flipping him out of nowhere after the beginning. Do you not have anyone there to defend him? Yeah, it's funny. You're sort of like, but that just gets you immediately more on his side though, because he just got totally screwed over from the start. Where it's like, okay, that's it, you're guilty, and that's it. And that for some reason they believe Simon Phoenix. Like, yeah, he said he didn't care. And, also, do you realize that's the captain from Lethal Weapon?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I never realized that until this watch. I was like, oh shit, that's from Lethal Weapon.
So his poster's in Sandra Bullock's office. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's all the same company, I guess. But you always just got totally screwed over, and like nobody had his back. But that's what just has you on his side. I mean, it's what, an hour and 45, hour and 50 minutes. Not 2 hours 45 minutes or whatever. I can actually tell its story in less than 2 hours, which is something I love very much. And miss, and tell us a story perfectly. You got characters you care about, you got humor, there's some drama, you got a good guy, you got a bad guy, you got a great female character who's lovable, cute, but ass kicking at the same time, so ticks all the boxes, make her appealing to everybody. So I just absolutely love Demolition Man. So anybody have any other things you wish to add?
We can say about Sandra Bullock too. They didn't sex her up in this movie.
No.
So I mean, this checks the boxes for a female, right? It's like, but like they seem to have lost the art of female characters. Whereas like I really liked her, and she because I like characters who are excited about what's going on. Yeah. Right. I don't like characters like what's her face in No Time to Piss, where she's just always irritated. It's like, I don't like you, James Bond. Why? I don't know. It's like, I hate when people are always irritated. It's like, this does not.
Because you're a man.
Yeah, like Sandra Bullock, she's immediately likable because she's like, oh my God, I love this era. And then she's like a big expert on it. And she's like,
she's so excited. So and you get excited with her talking about it. Yeah.
And you get excited with her because we're from that, time or whatever. We're the barbarians or whatever, but she loves the barbarians. So like, this is so cool. And it's like, but they didn't jeopardize the character, because once it started getting a bit violent, and even when he was trying to kiss her and stuff, like she's like, whoa. It's like she was a character, like it's like she loves this stuff, but then once the reality starts to kind of come in, it's like, oh, people are getting killed here, like oh shit, this is
when she kills the guy, she's like, that man died at my hand.
It's not that fun anymore. And I love when he knocks her out. He's like, you're just not ready for the level of destruction that's going to happen in the next 15 minutes.
This is true. Like, Sandra is literally us, and I was like, it's like she's us.
She's us, yeah.
We are Lena Huxley.
That's why she became so big, because she's very likable in movies too.
Oh, she is, and she was brilliant. Her and Demolition Man and Speed, and a few other things. It's just a checklist of action movies. It really does. It just hits the mark in every way, and still holds up. There's nothing about it that I would change. Everything is still right. Like just going back and just seeing real explosions and good fight scenes, and it just delivers everything for me. So have we all demolished ourselves then and discussed everything we want to?
I think so.
So next week we're going to do the Last Action Hero, because I think that's sort of a perfect sort of double bill then for us to discuss that. I'm really looking forward to talking about that, because once again, that doesn't get enough love. And that's the whole point of the Action Elite, is to remind people of how awesome action movies used to be. And there still are some, like John Wick or whatever, but we all know the 80s and 90s were best.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. So I'm good, he says. Alrighty. So remember, like and subscribe. And also like and subscribe to J-Man, because he does all kinds of things on his channel, not just action. He does comics and movies and TV shows and everything. And he did a great stream the other day on James Bond, talking about No Time to Die. I didn't join because I was pissed with that movie, and I hate it. But you'll know why if you've seen it, but that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, you can watch J-Man's stream, but make sure you watch the movie first, because there are some spoilers. And we will see you all next week. And remember, if you are watching, that you are the Action Elite, and we will see you next time.